Good morning and God bless. Okay, so this morning I decided that I am going to just go into my old, um, my one of my old Bibles that I used to. Oh wow, I was this Bible was something else. Anyway, this is called the Fire Bible, but it's the NIV. And when I first saw it, I thought, oh, what's this all about? I got that Bible, and that was during the time I was doing a lot of Bible studies and teachings. And when I tell you, we went through this Bible, and all I could say to myself was, Lord, I really hope and pray that that they would make a King James version of this, and they did. So I've had this Bible 15 years. I got this Bible in April 2010. And the occasion that I wrote to myself was study God's words for preparation to teach. All right. And I was so happy about that. All right. So, anyway, during that time, many people came to our church. That was when we were in Bremerton, Washington. And many people from all walks of life came into the house of faith. Some stayed, and some were just really passing through. And I forgot about this because there was a lady that came, and she was from the East Coast, something South America. It was like, wow. So, yeah. But anyway, that's not what I came here to talk to you about. I came here to talk to you about Job here, and I'm in Job chapter 10 this morning. And let's look and see what Job is saying. And like I said, this is NIV, and we're going to play around here and see what he had to say to all of us. And it says, I loathe my very life. Therefore, I will give free rein to my complaint and speak out in the bitterness of my soul. Job is talking some trash now, I'm telling you. All right. What he's saying here, he says here, I will say to God, do not condemn me, but tell me what charges you have against me. Does it please you to oppress me, to spurn the work of your hands, while you smile on the schemes of the wicked? Oh, Job. He says here, do you have eyes of flesh? Do you see the mortal? What do you see as a mortal sees? Are your days like those of a mortal, or your years like those of a man? That you must search out my faults and probe after my sin, though you know that I am not guilty and that no one can rescue me from your hand. Job asks a deep question. Job, he's saying that y'all just, hey, in other words, leave me alone. Don't even mess with me because I'm getting ready to talk. I'm getting ready to talk. I got this situation going on in my life here, and I need to let it out because number one, I know that I haven't done anything wrong. Okay. I know that I haven't done anything wrong. You just tell me what's wrong. What did I do, Lord? What charges do you have against me? This is what Job is saying. Now, what has happened to Job? Y'all remember what happened to Job? To the point where he is now just sitting here in such a deep complaint. Do you remember what happened to Job? Well, let me go back and remind you. Okay, all right. Job. Job wasn't doing nothing but number one, if he felt that if his sons sin, he says, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna offer burnt offerings, just in case my children, my sons and my daughters, my children have sinned against God. Okay, so that's what Job was doing, and he was living his life. But now, there's a visitor. Okay, and y'all know me. He says here in Job chapter 1, verse 6, one day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord. and Satan also came with them. Now, already, Job is in a situation now. He's already got a situation stewing up against him because what it said. The Lord said to Satan, "Where you come from?" And Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming through the earth and going back and forth in it." Lord, okay. Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." Not for me and Job. I'm with Job now. Lord, what did I do to deserve this? Why are you telling Satan about me? Why are you telling Satan about all these people in the world? Why you pinpoint me? You know the reason why? Because the Lord said, "Have you considered him?" Right? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. That's why he pointed you out. That's why he pointed you out. See, God, when God testifies about you, my Lord, hey, okay, if I got a trial and a tribulation to go through, I'm going through it. Why? Because the Lord is taking me through this. I'm not going through this by myself. The Lord is with me. It reminds me of chapter 23 of Psalm, "Thy rod and thy staff, it comforts me." I need you going with me, Lord. And Satan had the nerve to say this. Does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands so that his flocks and his herds are spread throughout the land. Even the devil knows you blessed, Job. Even the devil know you blessed. But see, now, Job got it. He said, "Look here now, got something for you." He said, "But stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." Now, what did the Lord do? The Lord gave him permission. The Lord said this, "Very well. Then everything he has is in your hands, but on the man himself do not lay a finger." What did Job do? Job caused that man to go bankrupt and killed all his children. Yeah, Job got a reason to start hollering and screaming, but that wasn't enough, because it says in verse 22 of chapter 1, "In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing." Okay. So, yeah, okay, we understand. Now, okay, Job, are you sure that this is enough? Look at this. On another day, the angels came to present themselves before the Lord. Now, this is chapter 2 of Job, verse 1. And Satan came also with them to present himself before him. And the Lord said to Satan, Where are you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming through the earth, going back and forth in it." Now look at verse 3. Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. And he still maintains his integrity, though you incite me against him to ruin him without reason." You bankrupt him. You killed all his children. You limited the amount of servants he had. That's what you did. And the Lord says, and he still maintains his integrity. Now, here goes Satan. "Skin for skin," Satan replied. "A man will give all he has for his own life, but stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bones, and he will surely curse you to his face." Now, okay. Now, for those of us that's sick and afflicted in our bodies, okay? Yeah, we'd start talking some serious stuff to the Lord. "How dare you let me get sick, Lord? I was doing just fine without getting sick. Oh my Lord, every day I got pain in my body. I just can't have this, Lord. How are you going to do this to me, Lord? Yeah, we say it. We say it. The Lord said to Satan in verse 6, very well, then he is in your hands, but you must spare his life. And it says, so Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the top of his head. Then Job took a piece of broken pottery and scraped himself, all right, with it as he sat among the ashes. Now here's deep right here now. His wife said to him, are you still holding on to your integrity? Curse God and die. Why is Job in chapter 10 saying, I got a lot to complain about? And then he says, you are talking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? In all this, Job did not sin in what he said. Now, we got the background as to why he is saying to the Lord, what charges do you have against me? Because now I'm talking now. I got a reason to be upset. Not only did all of my children die, not only did I go bankrupt, but I have sores, painful sores on my body, God. I can't sit, stand, lay, nothing. I can't do nothing without being in pain and being on putting pressure on some boils that's on my body. The only way I can get some relief is taking this sharp edge thing here and breaking the blisters, these boils, so that the pressure can release off out of it and give me a little bit of relief here. Now, I don't know about you all, but I mean, I have had a boil or two, and very painful, very painful. And the only way that pain really starts relieving itself is when that infection that is accumulated within that little space, that infection that is accumulated, that it is released out. That's the only time it seems like you get some relief. The old people, what they used to do, I tell you, either go soak yourself in some Epsom salt, some warm, some hot Epsom salt water, or take your hot rag and put on that to make it rise up so it can bust. But imagine this man, the top of his head, all down his face, neck, back, shoulders, arms. My aunt, when my paternal aunt, had them all up underneath of her arms. She would have to go to the doctor and get them lanced constantly. And Job is walking on these things. He's sitting on these things. So yeah, he's got a reason. And then, okay, bankruptcy, dead children, the boils, and then his wife. Why don't you curse God and die? That's a lot for one man to take in just a matter of hours, days, weeks, even, however long it took. Okay. Because as I read chapter 1 and 2 there, especially chapter 1, it seemed like everything happened all in one day. That's what, I'm just talking. Now, it might have not have happened all in one day, but can you imagine all in one day? Your cows are gone. Let me go back to it. What was the first ones that happened? I got there. Let me see if I can remember here. Okay, what was the first things? Going back to chapter 1. All right. The first thing that happened. Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we are. 13. One day when Job's sons and daughters were feasting and drinking the wine at the oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing. So the oxen and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and Sabians attack and carry them off. They put the servants to the sword. They killed the servants, but I, escaped. And then it said, while he was still speaking, another messenger came, and the fire of God fell from the sky and burned up the sheep, all right, and the servants. I'm the only one that came, that was left to tell you. And while he was still speaking, another messenger came and said the Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties, all right, and swept down on your camels, all right, and carried them off. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who escaped to tell you, all right. Then he says here, while he was speaking, yet another messenger came and said, your sons and daughters were feasting, all right? Your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house. Excuse me. Oh, wow. That itches. When suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the 4 corners of the house, it collapsed on them, and they are dead. And I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. All right. So it was oxen and donkeys, and then it was sheep and camels and his children and his servants. Then his health. All right. So when he said this, he says now, verse 5 of chapter 10, are your days like those of a mortal, or your years like those of a man, that you must search out my faults and probe after my sin, though you know that I am not guilty and there ain't nothing that I can do about it? Okay, let's read on. Verse 8. Your hands shaped me and made me. Will you now turn and destroy me? Now this is something. Now I'm telling you, I feel Job, and I believe that this is a good argument that he got going on here. All right, I feel that this is a good argument. All right, he says, remember that you molded me like clay. Will you now turn me to dust again? Did you not pour me out like milk and curdle me like cheese? Clothe me with the skin and flesh and knit me together with bones and sinews? You gave me life and showed me kindness, and in your providence, okay, watched over my spirit. But this is what you conceal in your heart, and I know that this was in your mind. If I sin, you would be watching me, and you would not let my offense go punished. If I am guilty, woe to me. Even if I am innocent, I cannot lift my head, for I am full of shame and drown in my affliction. If I hold my head high, you stalk me like a lion. I mean, Job got a he's got okay. He's selling to the Lord that all these things that have happened to me, but you know who I am. He says, if I hold my head high, you stalk me like a lion, and again display your awesome power against me. There's nothing I can do against you, Lord. There's no place I can go. There's nothing I really can say that that can be said. So I'm just saying what's in my heart. I'm saying what's in my mind. He said, look here, verse 17. You bring new witnesses against me and increase your anger toward me. Your forces come against me and wave upon wave. I mean, it's just coming. So to go back and answer the question, it seemed like all of that happened in one day, except the boils. That was another day. Okay. He says here, verse 18, why then did you bring me out of the womb? I wish I had died before any eye saw me. If only I had never come into being or had been carried away straight from the womb to the grave. Now that's rough. Now I don't know about some of you all, but I gave birth to a still baby. And that was very, very emotional because here you are, here I was, 9 months and expecting to hold another little person in my arm and become mommy to, only for the technician to say, you need to go see your doctor. And with the limited medical knowledge that I had, I realized that the baby's heart was not beating. And I told the lady, I says, well, I have to take care of my son and my niece. I have things to do as a mother first. All right. I had to go back to my job and let my job know I'm getting ready to go to the hospital. I had to go and call my husband. I had to get somebody to take care of my young son and my young niece before I walked out of that house. If the baby is dead, why am I rushing to the hospital? There's nothing that can be done. All right. So um, here he's saying that I wish that I had been carried straight from the womb to the grave. And that's a hard thing for him to say when you've got women that have gone through that very thing. But then that's what he's saying. See, he's all in his head now. He's not caring about nobody else. Then he says in verse 20, he says, are not my few days almost over? Turn away from me so I can have a moment's joy before I go to the place of no return, to the land of gloom and deep shadow, to the land of deepest night or deep shadow and disorder, where even the light is like darkness. You know, here he is, he's talking out how he is feeling. Now, when you got to chapter, I believe it was chapter 2, okay, of Job, you will find that I'll just call them his three best friends, came to see him, but they ain't even say nothing to him for a whole week. And his friends' names is all right, Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite. Okay, and they went to see him. They went there to see him. Okay, but Job already has spoken out his heart. It would have been better if I had just died before I was even born, or right after I was born. You know, than to go through this grief that I'm going through. And to end our lesson today and our reading today, it doesn't matter what you're going through, but if you are rooted and grounded in God, if you have given God your 100%, like the Lord bragged on Job, and the devil, even though he tried, there was nothing he could do about it. Absolutely nothing. But give it his best. And his best at that time wasn't good enough because Job still refused to charge God of anything or to flare up in God's face with anger and sin. He maintained the integrity of a righteous man. Let's be righteous. Even though we're going through one of the roughest things of our lives, let's maintain our integrity in Christ Jesus. All right? This is your missionary, Sister Robin Brooks. Peace be unto you. God bless.